Beyonce and Adidas are parting ways. A source close to the situation tells The Hollywood Reporter that the Grammy-winning entrepreneur and the German lifestyle brand have mutually agreed to go their separate ways.
I see why it underperformed, but for Adidas to try to come for her as if she didn't do her job, and now they trying to throw shots at her like she's the reason why they're underperforming, but it was really them getting in their feelings, okay? And listening to the higher ups, and they dropped their biggest clients. You know what? You just gonna have to take this one to the team, Adidas. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Beyonce ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. You probably need to call
Beyonce's natural hair care line, and I feel like a lot of people have failed to connect with why she's even
Just because you've amassed a large following or audience does not mean that you have a strong personal brand. In order to have a strong personal brand that you can build ventures off of, you need a really strong connection with your audience.
Beyonce might be the queen of the stage, but when it comes to business, the streets are saying she keeps fumbling the bag. And the wild part is, rumor has it Kim Kardashian herself dropped this bomb in an interview that never even made it to air. Can you imagine that? And before you rush to drag Kim, let's be real for a second. There's some truth here. Beyonce has had way more failed ventures than wins when it comes to business moves, and the pattern is clear. Sis refuses to actually market her stuff. Don't get it twisted though, on stage she's still untouchable. This woman can announce a world tour and sell out stadiums before Ticketmaster even refreshes the page. Just look at her Renaissance tour. Over $579 million pulled in like it was nothing. One photo broke the internet, and her fan base moves in silence like an army. But once she steps off that stage and into the business world, her portfolio looks shakier than a Jenga tower in the middle of an earthquake. Let's break it down. House of Darion? Gone. 22 Days Nutrition? Discontinued. Ivy Park with Adidas? Child, they predicted $250 million in sales, but reports said it barely scraped $40 million before Adidas quietly cut ties in 2023. That's not just a flop, that's an embarrassment for a star of her size. Now compare that to Kim K. She flipped her reality TV fame into a straight-up empire. Skims alone is valued at a jaw-dropping $4 billion. That's billion with a B, not just vibes, not just hype, actual money pouring in. In 2023 alone, Skims pulled in $1 billion in sales, with the NBA, the Olympics, and global collabs backing her up. Every time Kim casually posts a video in her shapewear, the internet eats it up, products vanish off shelves, and even Wall Street is watching.
Where do you see yourself 5 years down the road?
Hopefully, I will still be doing what I'm doing. I really hope to focus on the new brands that I've been launching this year. And I feel like those are all my little babies that I've focused, I feel like my whole career has been leading up to this year of these launches to where it's like really authentically me. So I don't really want to expand into doing a whole lot of other things. I really want to focus on what I'm doing now that I feel like I found my place, and just continue to do that.
Meanwhile, Beyonce is giving us high-budget rollouts with smoke, horses, and dramatic runways. But by the next season, her pieces are either nowhere to be found or sitting on the clearance rack at half price. The people just aren't connecting with her drops the same way. Kim's out here relatable, filming in her mirror and showing off fabric stretch, while Bey's giving Hollywood trailers for clothes that barely make it past launch.
It started off with simply finding shapewear that was a skin tone that would match my color and a lot of my friends' skin tone. You'd either get like a super light nude or just black. There was nothing in between. And so I used to take all my shapewear and dye it with tea bags and coffee and in the bathtub or in the sinks. I really was just looking for a solution to what I hadn't found out there.
Beyonce might be serving pure goddess vibes, but here's the messy truth. Goddesses don't sell leggings. That's the tea, bestie. Insiders swear Kim wasn't shading Bey just for clout, she was making a point. There's a huge difference between having star power and actually running a business. Beyonce's Mystique works like magic in music, but when it comes to business, customers want something different. Consistency, relatability, and proof that the founder actually lives in what they're selling. That's why Kim is cashing billion-dollar checks while Beyonce's brands keep vanishing faster than Destiny's Child members after an album drop.
If Beyonce put her name on a cleaning company, would you inquire to use her services? If Kim Kardashian started her own law firm, would you register to become one of its clients? In the past, people would buy anything that a celebrity would put their name on because it aligned with the times. But now things are different. The reason why a lot of celebrity brands have failed is because they assume that their large audience is just going to jump on their next product. When Jennifer launched her Latin restaurant Madras, it closed after 6 years of very bad reviews. It was also a brand misalignment. When people think of Jennifer, I don't think they think food. She tried to be different by launching a restaurant because not many celebrities were doing this at the time. Maybe she didn't want to be predictable by launching something related to fitness, tanning, or her amazing body.
This ain't about who's the bigger star. We already know Beyonce owns the stage. That's not even up for debate. This is about why Kim can whisper skims and investors go wild, while Beyonce can scream Ivy Park and the sales charts barely move. And here's the gag. On the surface, it looks like Beyonce and Kim are both running their empires, but the way they play the game couldn't be more different. Kim has mastered the art of keeping it real. She's her own walking billboard. Every other day, she's hopping on IG or TikTok, chilling in her bathroom mirror, casually showing off the latest SKIMS drop like she just rolled out of bed. People love it because it feels raw, it feels authentic, it feels like something they could do too. That's Marketing 101, relatability sells.
Me in this article because a couple of months I said Rihanna did what I thought Beyonce would do when it comes to building a business. And what I mean by this is, and Beehive, don't kill me, but Beyonce does not have a strong personal brand. Yes, she is a celebrity, but she does not have a strong personal brand whatsoever. That's why any venture that she pursues outside of music, if you notice, it doesn't do that well. And the core reason behind that is Beyonce has, in a way, made her life so private and herself kind of unreachable that when she puts out a product, it's hard for us to connect to the product because we can't really connect to her as a human. We don't believe that she's using the things that she's selling us. The perfume, House of Darion, even the collaboration with Adidas.
When folks see Kim rocking her shapewear under a red carpet gown one night and then flexing cozy fits on a random Tuesday, it hits different. They can see themselves in it, and that's what keeps the cash flowing. Now, Beyonce, she's not in the trenches like that. Her whole brand screams Mystique. It's, I'm untouchable, I'm above you. And while that works for superstardom, in the business world, it creates distance. Fans admire her, but they don't relate to her. And that's where the problem lies. Watching Beyonce's business moves feels like watching from a distance, and that kind of mystery works in music. Fans love the surprise album drops, the sudden visuals, the big reveals. But in business, that strategy is a disaster. How are you gonna sell sneakers and leggings if nobody ever sees you breaking a sweat in them? Take Ivy Park, for example. Every campaign looked like a blockbuster movie. Horses running through the desert, flames blazing, the visuals, gorgeous. But then what? No follow-up, no behind-the-scenes moment of her casually rocking the fits in the gym or while running errands, nothing to make it feel lived in. It just vanished into thin air and onto the next rollout. Consumers started treating Ivy Park like it was art, not apparel. And let's be real, art doesn't pay rent. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian spun Skims into a cultural reset. When she first launched, people clowned her, calling it Spanx 2.0. But she flipped the narrative like a pro. She sold it as body positivity, inclusivity, and everyday luxury. And the genius move? She had celebs, athletes, even influencers wearing Skims in real life, not just in airbrushed ad campaigns. People saw it on Instagram stories, at practice, on flights, and suddenly it wasn't just shapewear, it was a lifestyle. By the time Beyonce was allegedly begging Adidas to re-up Ivy Park, Kim was out here announcing partnerships with the NBA, Team USA at the Olympics, and even collabs with luxury fashion houses. That's how you cement longevity. And don't think Beyonce didn't try the same PR spin. Remember that vegan meal plan she launched with her trainer? She tied it to her Coachella prep, pitched it as a glamorous health kick, but dietitians dragged it for being way too restrictive. The hype dried up, and what did she do? Quietly ghosted her own product. Poof! Gone like it never existed. Now, look at Kim's strategy. When people dragged her SKKN skincare line for being way too expensive, she didn't hide. She doubled down, did interviews, posted tutorials, and shifted the narrative back in her favor. That's the difference. Kim lives inside her brands, flaws and all. Beyonce, she drops her brands like she drops her music videos, polished, mysterious, then disappears. But consumers don't want mystery in their moisturizers or leggings. They want consistency. And that's why the public sees Kim as a full-on business mogul in control, while Beyonce looks more like an artist dabbling in ventures she doesn't really commit to. And baby, the numbers don't lie. Skims is thriving because the spin feels real. People believe it. Meanwhile, Ivy Park fizzled out because the whole thing came off like smoke and mirrors. Gorgeous, yes, but no substance. Now let's throw the numbers on the table because, baby, the math ain't mathing for Beyonce when it comes to her business ventures. First up, House of Darion. Back in 2004, Beyonce and Mama Tina really thought they were about to snatch the fashion crown. They had Bloomingdale's deals, glossy ad campaigns, and Beyonce herself plastered all over the brand. But here's the catch. Reviews dragged the clothes for looking cheap, way too busy, and straight up confusing. By 2012, the line had quietly disappeared from US shelves like it never existed. Fashion insiders later admitted the brand failed because it chased trends instead of setting them. Translation? Star power couldn't cover sloppy execution. Now, fast forward to Ivy Park. Launched in 2016 with Topshop, then moved over to Adidas in 2020. At first, it looked like a win. The early drops sold out instantly. Fans were scrambling to grab those neon biker shorts. But hype doesn't equal longevity. Adidas had sky-high hopes, projecting Ivy Park would rake in $250 million. Guess what it actually made in 2022? Just $40 million. That's not a dip, that's a nosedive. By March 2023, the Adidas partnership was done, dusted, and over. Ivy Park went from being pitched as the next Nike to collecting dust on clearance racks in under 5 years. Now put that next to Kim K's SKIMS, launched in 2019 and already valued at over $4 billion. In 2023 alone, Skims pulled in $1 billion in sales. Billion with a B. Every restock, gone in minutes. Every collab, trending on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. And let's not forget, Kim secured official deals with the NBA and Team USA at the Olympics. While Adidas was walking away from Beyonce's Ivy Park, entire sports leagues were literally begging to carry Kim's brand. That's not just a win, that's a power move. And don't even get me started on the fragrance game. Beyonce's debut perfume, Heat, was a smash hit back in 2010, making hundreds of millions. But after that, the momentum died and the rest of her fragrance line never came close to matching the hype. Beyonce's perfume line might have gone global at first, but by 2013, those bottles were collecting dust in drugstore clearance bins. Meanwhile, Kim's KKW Beauty was printing money. Before she even rebranded, Kim's makeup empire hit $100 million in sales its very first year. And let's not forget, she sold just 20% of it to Coty in 2020 for a jaw-dropping $200 million. While Beyonce's perfumes fizzled out, Kim cashed out big time. And remember Beyonce's 22 Days nutrition venture? She launched that vegan meal plan like it was gonna revolutionize health and wellness. Baby, dietitians tore it apart, dragging it for being too restrictive. Customers complained about the tiny portions, and the whole thing disappeared quicker than Destiny's Child background singers after a tour. Now flip the script. Kim dropped SKKN, her luxury skincare line, and even when critics blasted it for being overpriced, she didn't run. She leaned into the drama, sat down for interviews, filmed tutorials, and kept promoting like a boss. That's called resilience. And the receipts don't lie. Look at the scoreboard. House of Darion? Gone. Ivy Park? Gone. Perfumes? Gone. Vegan meal plan? Gone. Kim, on the other hand, every single venture either scales up into $1 billion beast or sells for hundreds of millions. That's why Kim can shade Beyonce's business moves with her whole chest, because the scoreboard is embarrassing and everybody sees it. Yes, Beyonce absolutely owns the stage. Nobody can touch her as a performer. But in the business world, Kim is running laps around her. And if you thought the numbers were messy, just wait until you see the timeline reactions. Because baby, the internet turned this into a Versus-style battle of boardrooms. First up, The Hive. You already know they don't play about Beyonce. The second whispers about Ivy Park's flop and Kim's alleged shade hit the blogs. The Hive swarmed in full defense mode. Excuses flew left and right. She doesn't need the money. She's focused on artistry, not leggings. Kim ain't got no Grammys. But the dragging was real because what's a Grammy gonna do when your brand is sitting in a discount bin? Folks accused the Hive of moving the goalposts just to protect her image. On the other side, Kim's stans came swinging with memes, receipts, and screenshots of Ivy Park sitting on clearance racks right next to Skims selling out in minutes. And then you had the neutrals, people who don't stan either woman, and even they had to admit it. Kim's consistency in business trumps Bey's. One person even compared it to Rihanna, saying, one fan said it plain, I don't think Bey is very good at marketing her businesses compared to Rihanna and her Fenty brand. And honestly, they had a point. Rihanna has mastered the art of selling through social media. She's personable, funny, and knows how to use every influencer trick in the book to make Fenty feel like it belongs to everybody. Meanwhile, it took Beyonce literal months to release even a single clip of herself using her Ivy Park products. Fans were laughing, saying, LOL girl, where's the promo? Now, everybody knows Beyonce is shy and introverted, but here's the catch. Your products won't sell if your consumer base doesn't feel connected to you. Some fans even said she should have leaned into more Bey-inspired products because that would have been master-level marketing. Instead, the comments got messy, pointing out that even artists under her wing, like Chloe Bailey, struggle to pop the way they should. While Kim Kardashian's empire just keeps growing bigger and bigger with every launch. But here's the kicker. This whole debate wasn't only about Beyonce flopping, it was about Kim winning in the exact spaces where Bey stumbled. Fans kept pointing out that Rihanna with Fenty and Kim with Skims thrive because they show up for their brands every single day. They don't stay hidden, they don't keep it mysterious, they make themselves part of the product. Kim is literally the face of Skims. Rihanna is the heart of Fenty. That constant visibility makes people buy in. Beyonce, on the other hand, keeps her distance and her businesses take the hit. So in the court of public opinion, the jury is out. And the verdict ain't sweet for Beyonce. Kim looks like the hands-on mogul, while Bey looks like the artist who should probably stick to the stage. And here's where it gets real messy. Because at the end of the day, Beyonce and Kim Kardashian built their empires playing two completely different games. Beyonce is the artist, untouchable on stage, legendary in music, a cultural icon with bulletproof impact. Kim is the mogul, a reality star turned billionaire, printing money with shapewear and skincare like it's second nature. And when those two worlds collide, the cracks show quick. Let's be clear though, Beyonce's musical legacy is solid. She could drop an album tomorrow with zero promo and the internet would crash trying to stream it. But when it comes to business, that's where the comparison cuts deep. When it comes to business, that's a whole different story. House of Darion vanished without a trace. Ivy Park fizzled out under Adidas. Her perfumes cooled off after the early hype. Even her label Parkwood has struggled to turn her proteges into household names. Every time Beyonce steps off the stage and into the boardroom, that same magic just doesn't seem to follow her. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian flipped her reality TV fame into straight-up generational wealth. Skims is sitting pretty at a $4 billion valuation. She's inked global sports deals, and she's even managed to turn controversies into marketing strategies. You don't have to like hers, but you can't deny she's running laps around the competition. That's why Kim can boldly stand flat-footed and say, Beyonce may be queen of music, but she's not the queen of business. The irony here? Both women built their empires on control, just in completely opposite ways. Beyonce guards her image with secrecy, letting her art speak for her. Kim, on the other hand, thrives on visibility, putting her life, body, and businesses out there nonstop. And in the world of business, Kim's way works. Customers want access, relatability, and a face that shows up every single day. Beyonce's Mystique might keep her iconic, but it also keeps her products cold. And here's the tea nobody says out loud. Beyonce's obsession with control might actually be holding her back. She's so focused on protecting the perfection of her brand that she won't risk showing flaws. But flaws, that's what makes you relatable. That's why Rihanna's Fenty wins. That's why Kim's Skims wins. Even Kylie Jenner's makeup line keeps winning because they play human, while Beyonce plays goddess. And let's be real, goddesses don't sell leggings. So what's next for Beyonce? Maybe she doubles down on what she does best, music and legacy. while quietly letting her business ventures fade into the background. And Kim? For her, it's only up from here. She's redefining what it means to be a celebrity mogul, proving that consistency and visibility keep the money machine turning. Here's where the conversation takes another turn. Because when people talk about Beyoncé's business flops, they're not just dragging her choices. They're pointing out how the industry itself plays favorites. Some insiders argue that Beyoncé's brand struggles aren't only about her decisions, but also about how she positions herself compared to competitors. She doesn't play the PR game the way Kim or Rihanna do. And in today's market, that silence can feel like a weakness. Think about it. The modern consumer wants constant engagement. They want TikToks, behind-the-scenes clips, messy interviews, and personal stories to latch on to. Kim feeds that hunger daily. Rihanna does it effortlessly. Even Kylie floods the internet with product demos and lifestyle content. Beyoncé, she drops one perfectly polished campaign video months after launch, then disappears like a ghost. That works for music, but for products that need repeat buyers, it leaves people disconnected, and the ripple effects show up everywhere. Look at her artists under Parkwood. Chloe and Halle Bailey, both insanely talented, but the promotion often feels inconsistent. Fans have complained that Beyoncé's Mystique trickles down, making her protege harder to connect with. Compare that to Kim, who shamelessly amplifies her family's every move, whether it's Kendall modeling, Kylie pushing makeup, or Chloe plugging Good American. The machine never stops. That nonstop visibility keeps the brand names alive in every conversation. It's also about business structure. Kim surrounds herself with teams who understand tech, direct-to-consumer sales, and influencer culture inside out. She leans into collaborations, secures global distribution, and keeps investors hyped. Beyoncé? She's often tied to traditional partnerships with legacy corporations, Adidas, Pepsi, L'Oreal, where the campaigns look glamorous but depend on outside backing. The second sales dip, those corporations cut ties, and the brand collapses. Another layer people rarely talk about is risk. Kim and Rihanna don't shy away from backlash. They spin it into relevance. When Kim was accused of copying designs, or when Rihanna faced criticism for certain Fenty shade launches, both doubled down and turned the drama into headlines. Beyoncé, on the other hand, avoids conflict at all costs. But in the influencer-driven market, controversy often sells. Playing it too safe leaves her businesses invisible in a culture that thrives on noise. So while fans argue online about who's richer or who's more iconic, the bigger story is clear. Beyoncé and Kim aren't even playing the same sport. Beyoncé operates like an old